Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. God bless you. My name is Pastor Yemi Omogboyega. Nigeria is interesting. I want to talk on the trending news of what happened in Delta State as far as Remi Tinubu, or our First Lady, is concerned. It's so interesting. It's a drama. And one will be happy for one thing, that in fact, that is the beginning of a new beginning, in the sense that up until now, the way we treat dignitaries in this country is like hero worshipping. It's like hero worshipping. But I will title this message, Blame the governors of Delta State, not the First Lady. Blame the governors of Delta, the past, I don't know of the present, but the past governors of Delta State, not the First Lady, neither the presidency, for what happened. Now, like I said previously, if a governor or any dignitary or the president of a nation is coming, bad roads will be quickly graded. Everywhere will be decorated. And power failure that has always been, there will suddenly be light. But the moment this dignitary leaves, everybody goes to the status quo. I remember in my state then, when President Olusegun Obasanjo, ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo, was to visit us, all of a sudden, a poultry farm emerged from one of their Greek settlements in Ekiti land. And it became an issue when the visiting president, ex-President Obasanjo, said, what a wonderful project in the interest of the people. These people must really be enjoyed. Their governor is doing well. But he asked a simple question. I have seen a poultry where the birds there have no feces, do not pass stools, there is no dung, no poultry dung. It seems to be a laughing matter then, but it's a serious matter, and that tells us how we camouflage in this nation. And what happened now would have been a very good thing, which is the aim anyway, if I'm correct. The aim is to say, federal government, we are unhappy with you. First Lady, you are not our mama. Because a good mother will care for her children. A good mother will have a milk of affection. A good mother will have voice in whatever the husband is doing. A good mother will have positive impact as a first lady. But what the Protestants, in quote now, alleged Protestants, wants to express is that, however, well as that may have addressed those points, one thing we need to realize is this. If a human being is not helping himself and he wants to depend upon other people to help him or her, that person will have himself to blame at the end of the day, because there is little that somebody else can do for you. There is greater things that you need to do for yourself. Failure to do so, you will pay the price. And if you look at what happened, I suspect a coup. I suspect a coup. Certain things could have happened. The opposition might have a hand in it. I cannot confirm that. Might have a hand in it. Because Delta State is an opposition state, there is no problem with that. It is normal. It is normal. It could also be a coup that the children themselves have been mentored by somebody somewhere along the line to respond the way they responded. The MC too cannot be spared, in the sense that did they not do rehearsal before getting to the stage? This song that was sung during the occasion, was it not rehearsed? What were the responses of the children during rehearsal? So how come that all of a sudden at the stage, and uniformly, no dissenting voice from among the children, uniformly, the children responded the way they did, and the MC, what was the expectation of the MC, and how did the MC feel about it? There is a coup. Like I said, one will not be surprised. There is nothing the opposition will see in his opponent that, an opposition never praises its opponent. Never. So it is understandable what has happened there, that it is a coup. Because if it were not a coup, the children would have had a case to answer. The MC himself would have had a case to answer. And the objective is to say that the APC, which is in opposition to, the PDP, which is in opposition to APC, is making a point that we don't value you here. Like I said, everybody knows that oppositions don't see anything good in whom they are criticizing. So it's a drama. What would have been the reaction of the First Lady herself? I've said earlier, impression had been created about the First Lady all over Nigeria. Every state has its own impression about her. You need to be on the social media to see how the husband and the wife are being criticized. Criticism is good, provided it is constructive. Some will go outrightly and abuse, which is not the best. It's like Christian religious leaders' critics cursing the leaders, which is wrong to me, or judging them, or any abuses on them. No. Say what the person is doing wrongly and offer suggestion. That is what, as to the solution. That is the constructive criticism we are talking about. Okay, for instance, the religious leaders, if you say you are collecting tithes and you say it is not biblical, then cite the Bible passage like Hebrews 7 verse 5 that says, when you were paying the tithe in the olden days, you were paying it according to the law. Then they go to verse 22 and say, Christ has come to make things lighter for the people by saying that the laws, the whole of Hebrews 7 talks about the changes that took place, including the fundamental changes that mended that law that you were observing, that you now refer the leaders to it and say, please, I don't hate you, I'm not against you, I'm not taking anything personal with you, but what the Bible says is what I'm saying. Tell the man. So it is left for the leader to go, the religious leader to go and read that and see how he can align with the Bible. The opposition or the critic has already helped him or her to realize where the errors were. Like the critic will say, if the whole thing has been changed, including Mosaic order, include everything, and the law is jettisoned, and the law of tithing is among them, then why are you still taking it? So it's left for the leader to go and think constructively, accept where he was going wrong, look for other avenues of raising money for the church, because definitely the church needs money. But the word of God is so sensitive, you don't need to do cut corners to do the will of God. No, don't cut corners. You can still do it within the available resources you have. May not be as surplus, but forget about that. So that's how to criticize. But when you begin to say the leaders won't make heaven, to hell with them, this and that, they are this, they are that, they are, and it's going personal. That's not profiting anybody. Even the people you are talking to, you are defending, they themselves will even attack you, which is normal. So it's the same thing that we are seeing here. Let's go to the root of the whole thing. I don't know the level of development. I know that I hear that the governors are doing the best they could, but maybe the best is not enough. Let us understand one thing. The best of development is in the hands of the governor of a state. That is why I did say that instead of blaming the federal government, why not blame the state governments? If the development they have brought to Delta State is not commensurate with the expectations of the people, then why do we heap it on the federal government? And I'll give you an example. Not long after President Bola Tinubu, became the president, the first people he tackled were the governors. He said, challenge your governors, ask your governors for development, and that they were getting more money now than they were getting before. Ask them to deliver the dividends of democracy to you. Don't be looking at the federal government. It is not to spare the federal government too, because there are some major things that are the responsibilities of the federal government. If they are not present in Delta State, these people will be justified. One of them, good road network. If the roads are as bad in Delta State, the federal roads I'm talking about now, are as bad in Delta State as it used to be or as it is in Ekiti State today. Travel from Ado Ekiti through Iyin Ekiti, Igede Ekiti, Aramoko Ekiti, Erio Ekiti, just up to Efon, Iwaraja Junction, just within the Ekiti State. You will understand what I'm saying as of today. So if the Delta people were protesting against such, they will be justified. If in Ekiti State today, the federal government comes there and wants to do something, and they did what they did to the First Lady in Ekiti, to whoever comes, they will be justified, and they have to narrow it down to exactly what they wanted. The federal roads are death traps. Now, the rainy season is here, and with the way things are, chances are that the love of God so much upon us, there will be heavier rains this year. And the people will begin to suffer. I remembered several times that I traveled on that road, that at Erio in particular, at the point of entry Erio, within the premise or surrounding or within the area in the front of Edu High School in Erio, as you are climbing to enter the town, that year I was coming from Lagos. The road itself, because there was heavy downpour and it was still raining, the road had cut into two. It took the grace of God for us to be able to go. Terrible risk that the vehicle nearly somersaulted, even at a very low, the lowest of speed, because everything was terrible. People would have lost their lives. How many trailers have been wasted along that road, and how many lives? Just that short, the whole journey from Ado Ekiti to that junction I'm talking about, at the most should be just 40 minutes. Today, you can spend maybe 1.5 hours to get to that place. Ilesha to Ado Ekiti usually is 1 hour journey, but Ilesha has become more than 2 hours journey. And the rest of the 2 hours to Ibadan that used to be exactly 2 hours for a non-speeding vehicle, that is a slow vehicle, is now over 4 hours. You spend 5 hours sometimes to get to Ibadan from Ado Ekiti. on these federal roads that are not properly maintained. So these are the issues. But when it gets to some other things, I'm not against protests. Even what they did to me, like I said, even though it's a coup, it's a good coup if they were able to probably say exactly what they wanted and made them to sing the opposite of what the MC was singing. They have protested, but we don't know what they are protesting against. Maybe this is just a political protest that we don't want you here. And then the antecedents of Remi too, the first lady, maybe she's from there. Because the way I look at it is that what they should have done is, we sing that you are our mommy, but go and tell your husband our roads are bad. Let him fix it. If allocations are not being made promptly for the state to develop, state it. If there are other things that you have that are grieving you, state it. And let the woman, women are powerful, let the woman carry that message down. So like I said, it's a very dicey thing. We don't know whether it is politically motivated by the opposition or whether truly. And another thing that it points to is this. I've always advised women. Some will say I'm married and that's all. I have nothing to do with my father's house anymore. You are joking. This is the repercussion. What, hailing from Delta State, what has Remi Tinubu contributed as a daughter of that place? What has she contributed that is affecting the lives of the people positively? If they look at it and there is nothing, then the song is beautiful. Because we have to be objective. What contributions has Remi Tinubu made to that state? Women should always remember where they come from. I remembered during one of the tenors, I can't remember now, when one of the ladies from my town, the wife of Colonel Raji Rasaki, what's her name now? Can't remember now. That lady is from my town. She came to vie for senatorial position. And interestingly, she was, it was the time that MOB, Michael Okoye-Bamidele, was also interested. Both of them from the same town. I remember it was a political solution they gave to it that time, asking MOB to slow down for her. And they allowed Fatima, I think it's Fatima or something. They allowed her to contest and she won. You can see that it's a political solution. If there is nothing that lady is doing that made that possible, she would have lost out. But on the second term, when the position became vacant again, she wanted to recontest. The party, in its wisdom, also said, okay, let there be equity. This time around, it is Opeyemi Bamidele's turn, and he's there today. You can see how people balance these things. I remembered also when Opeyemi started contesting for governorship, one of the questions is, what has he done to his people? That was one of the greatest challenges that they gave to him then. For him to survive that, or to answer that question, he had to, I could see that he started doing so many things. You see, you may have good intentions. Now, through his influence, university has come to Ekiti. To God be the glory. This is a guy who can perform and who can deliver. But initially, they saw him as if, what have we benefited? You know, these local people, what have we benefited from him? Is it not just to further his political ambition that he's now coming out to say, I love you, I do this and that, snapping photographs with the locals, and then trying to be friendly? They will be accusing him of many things. It boils down to the fact that, look, before you come to seek for a position of leadership and for the people to accept you, they want to know your antecedents. Thank God that today MOB has surpassed, I can testify, he has answered that question well. Anytime it is his turn now for any position, be you governorship and it is his turn, massively he will enjoy the support of the people, he will enjoy the support of the party. So you don't look at what he has brought in within the period of his tenure. So people are interested in what you deliver. They want to know you as a person before you start asking for that position. You remember when Fayose, how did Fayose win the hearts of the people? Long before he will come and vie for governorship position, he started giving water freely. People thought it was philanthropy. That it was, yes, they knew him well for water distribution. Whether he's still doing it now, I don't know. But by the time he now came up and said, I want to become your governor, everyone, the man that gives us water, the man that gives us water, the man that gives us, he won. So you women in particular, don't always see yourself as belonging to the other side, your husband's place alone. Do something to your own people. It is myopic for you to think that I am married, therefore I belong to that side. A time is coming that you will need these people. A time is coming, your children might need something from this community. There are people, the story of Oba Tejo Osho, the Oshile of Egbaland, we are told was because her mother had been very good to the Egba people, and that ordinarily he wouldn't have been on that throne, but he became that because the people loved him. The people loved him, and he won. So your goodwill as a woman will take your children, generations upon generations after you, to make progress in life. So if Remi Tinubu has not done anything before she became first lady, and even when she's first lady and up till as we are talking, she has not done anything significant for the Delta people where she hailed from, then she deserves it. I hope she will learn the lesson. Bible says a man's bribe will make a way for him. The bribe is not the type of bribe you give on the road when police or any law officer catches you. No. The bribe is the PR you have been doing ever before you wanted something. You need to know is the PR. The PR, the bribe here means PR. How generous, how good, how kind, how caring you are being to people. Then when they need you, when you need them, they will rise up to help you. So it's a lesson to women in particular. Then the governors, please deliver to your people. Because if there is ample development, I know many more will be wanted, but at least whether the federal government does this or not, it doesn't concern you. I believe, I think I heard, I cannot ascertain that Delta State is generating power or something like that. That's good. If they are not in blackout, they won't know whether the federal government is doing anything or not. One thing that this nation has completely forgotten for their people at state and at the federal level is the fact that pipe-borne water ought to be everywhere. But I don't think any government is now talking about pipe-borne water for anybody. So these are the areas. Drama will never end. And we are still going to be watching more. But it's an eye-opener that, and I think dignitaries will be very careful now. They will organize the whole thing for you, but they put you to shame directly. This is the first time they will do it directly. But on the lighter note, what I would have preferred it, let there be the protest, but still honor that person first. And then, I know that you will, I say, how many times have we done that? We will honor them and then we will give our grievances to them to go and solve. That will be the end of it. Maybe that is why people are now saying, let's cuckoo dishonor them, so that they will really know. When will you stop grading the roads for that was bad when your governor is coming? And after he leaves, he doesn't remember that thing. May God help us in Nigeria. It's a drama. Please subscribe to this channel and share it extensively so that particularly the governors and women will learn something. The people are now voicing out. They are speaking out. They are not. They can no longer be kind of cowed anymore. God bless you. Please subscribe. Please comment and share to as widely audience as possible. Have a wonderful day.